a lot of like young dudes my age and shit, like we move different, our drive different, our ambitions different, you feel me?
In June 2024, Kodak Black walked out of prison, just days before a scheduled performance, and the internet went into meltdown. No press release, no buildup. He simply stepped onto the Rolling Loud stage, and the crowd erupted like they'd been waiting their whole lives. For a moment, it was as if the scandals, the courtrooms, the headlines, none of it existed. Same braided hair, same defiant stare, same energy. Kodak wasn't back. He never left. But what really fueled that moment? Was it genius or chaos? Calculated strategy or pure survival? The answer traces back to a boy named Dieuson Octave, born June 11, 1997, in Pompano Beach, Florida. No flashing lights, no studio booths, just the Golden Acres housing projects, where gunfire was background noise and poverty was the rule, not the exception. His father vanished early, leaving his mother, Marceline, a Haitian immigrant, to raise him alone. Life gave him two choices: deal drugs with a pistol on his hip, or make the world listen to his voice. And somehow, this kid chose the harder option. While others played ball or video games, Kodak read the dictionary, front to back. He memorized words like they were weapons, sharpening his mind when the streets tried to dull it. By 6, the name Black stuck. Later, Instagram gave him Kodak. Together, they weren't just a stage name. They were a manifesto, a broken camera capturing everything raw, dark, and real. This is where the story begins. At 12 years old, while most kids were still worried about gym class and multiplication tables, Kodak Black was already chasing destiny. He called himself J Black and joined a local rap crew, the Brutal Youngins. Later, he linked up with another group, the Cullinans, recording in smoke-filled closets that doubled as studios. He didn't need pen and paper. His lyrics lived in his head, carved straight from the streets. But trouble was never far. Expelled in 5th grade for fighting, arrested for car theft before he could even drive. Police stations and courtrooms became a revolving door. And yet through it all, music stayed. When he couldn't afford studio time, he stole microphones just to keep recording. Rapping is breathing. Without it, I lose the human part of myself, Kodak once said. And people believed him because he lived it. At 16, he dropped his first mixtape, Project Baby. Rough, raw, nothing polished. Every bar sounded like survival, like a warning shot. The title wasn't just an album, it was an identity. A kid from the projects who refused to bow his head, who used his music as fists pounding on the world's door. Kodak wasn't built to be a role model. He was built to be a witness. A reminder that sometimes survival isn't about being the best. It's about refusing to disappear. From the streets of Golden Acres, against all odds, a voice rose. Not perfect, not polished, just impossible to ignore. Kodak Black didn't need mainstream media to validate him. His first mixtapes hit the streets like earthquakes, raw, unfiltered, and impossible to fake. These weren't stories about poverty. They were poverty speaking for itself. His voice wasn't polished, but it was so real it gave you chills. Then came 2014. 2 tracks, No Flockin and Skrt, changed everything. Kodak's rapid-fire flow and jagged delivery cut through social media, with No Flockin racking up millions of views and eventually going double platinum. Skrt caught fire too, but the real shot came in 2015 when Drake, arguably the biggest rapper alive, posted a video of himself dancing to it. Overnight, Kodak went from Pompano's underground secret to a national name. Labels swarmed. Atlantic Records signed him. By 2017, Kodak dropped his debut studio album Painting Pictures, landing at number 3 on the Billboard 200. Its breakout single Tunnel Vision stormed the Hot 100, peaking at number 6. He followed quickly with Project Baby 2, and the XXXTentacion-assisted Roll in Peace went triple platinum. But the real explosion came in 2018. Kodak's album Dying to Live hit number 1 on Billboard, powered by ZZ featuring Travis Scott and Offset. That track soared to number 2 on the Hot 100, went 6 times platinum, and stamped Kodak as a cornerstone of modern rap. What makes Kodak stand out isn't his talent, it's survival. Every verse is proof that despite the chaos, he refuses to fold. Even prison couldn't silence Kodak Black. In 2020, while serving time, he dropped Bill Israel. It didn't dominate the charts, but it proved something bigger, that even behind bars, music was his lifeline. Then came 2022. Kodak warred back with Super Gremlin, a haunting anthem that shot to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of the year's biggest records. He followed with Back for Everything, an album that climbed to number 2 on the Billboard 200, reminding everyone that his place in rap was far from fading. That same year, Kendrick Lamar, widely seen as hip-hop's poet laureate, featured Kodak on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. For an artist haunted by controversy, standing alongside Kendrick was more than collaboration. It was validation. Proof that raw, unpolished voices could still reshape the culture. Kodak's style has never been neat. His flow breaks rules, his rhythm bends, but his words cut deep. He doesn't rap to please, he raps to survive. Every verse is a scar, every hook a reminder of where he came from. A black kid from Pompano's projects, scarred, flawed, relentless. His career hasn't been a straight line. It's been crooked, chaotic, unpredictable, but always moving forward. In an era where rap feels increasingly packaged, Kodak stands as the raw reminder that music can still be survival, not spectacle. On stage, with his braids and distant gaze, he looks untouchable. Offstage, he's quietly building an empire. And that is the part the world has yet to see.
When Kodak Black first blew up, most thought he'd fade fast, another internet star burning out as quickly as he appeared. Viral freestyles, wild videos, endless scandals. But while the world doubted, Kodak was building something bigger, a brand, a legacy. At the center of it all sits Sniper Gang. The name sounds like trouble, but it's more than that. Sniper Gang is a label, a clothing line, a movement. From hoodies to caps, every piece drips with rebellion, symbols of survival stitched into streetwear. For kids growing up in poverty, it's more than fashion, it's identity. Kodak never studied business. He learned it on the block, watching cash move hand to hand like currency and survival were the same thing. And he realized something powerful. People don't just buy clothes, they buy meaning. Kodak is the meaning. His fortune, estimated between $5 and $10 million, comes from more than music streams, shows, and royalties. Kodak keeps it raw, literally sleeping beside suitcases of cash, rubber bands binding stacks under mattresses and tucked into SUVs. A lifestyle that screams, "I don't play by your rules." But behind the chaos, there's strategy. Quiet land deals in Broward County, free basketball courts for kids, scholarships, holiday toy drives. When asked about real estate, Kodak once laughed, "I am the real estate. This whole city wants to see me win." He doesn't flaunt corporate skyscrapers, he builds influence where it matters, on the streets that raised him. For Kodak Black, music might be the heartbeat and cash the bloodstream, but cars are his statement piece. He doesn't chase flashy Ferraris or McLarens like everyone else. His garage feels more like a kingpin's catalog. A sleek white Rolls-Royce Cullinan worth nearly $400,000, a jet black Dodge Charger Hellcat with a custom engine, and a vintage Chevy Impala, a car he calls a memory of his father and the nights he once slept on the street. I don't buy cars to flex, I buy them to remind myself I once had nothing. That's Kodak's secret weapon. His wealth isn't just in bank accounts or collectibles, it's in his ability to spin chaos into currency. Every hit, every headline, every arrest becomes part of his brand. While most rappers try to look like businessmen, Kodak flips it. He's a businessman wrapped in the image of an outlaw. Before turning 30, he secured properties across Florida and Georgia. His Miami mansion looks like a fortress, white stone walls blending modern with Mediterranean flair. Inside, a private cinema, a studio, game rooms, and wardrobes stacked with designer fits. But the legend is in the basement. Coded locks guarding suitcases of cash, Gold grills, diamond pendants, and luxury watches he's never worn in public. Up north, his Georgia ranch is different. Endless lawns, a wooden house, even a makeshift helipad. To visitors, it feels like a doomsday hideout. To Kodak, it's peace, a place to fish by the lake, away from the noise. Because for him, wealth isn't just possession, it's protection. Kodak Black once said, "My cars aren't just for getting around, they're for storytelling." And he meant it. His white Rolls-Royce Cullinan, bought after his third prison release, isn't just a ride, it's a declaration. I'm still here. The interior tells the rest of the story. Black alligator leather, gold stitching, sniper gang logos stitched into the seats, and a sound system tuned to his exact freestyle bass frequency. A luxury car turned mobile studio. Then there's his 1973 Chevy Impala, restored from the engine block to its gleaming purple paint. It's not about money. Kodak once turned down a six-figure offer for it. That car is memory, childhood rides with his mom to the market, a piece of his past he refuses to sell. And the Dodge Charger Hellcat, matte gray paint, and exhaust that thunders like gunfire. Featured in his Transportin' video, it's more than muscle. It's a southern street icon, a symbol of speed, power, and defiance for a generation. But Kodak doesn't stop at cars. From diamond-studded iPhones to a gold-plated gun once revealed on livestream, everything he owns bears his stamp. Half artist, half outlaw. This edge has dragged him into courtrooms more than once, but it's also fueled his brand. In a world where rappers polish their image for trends, Kodak stays sharp-edged, defiant, and real. His cars, houses, and possessions aren't just flexes. They're chapters of his autobiography, forcing the world to read. Behind the stage lights, though, lives a man shaped by family, loss, and love. Today, Kodak Black is a father of at least 5 children with 4 different women, most born while he was battling criminal cases. His relationships with the mothers aren't always clear, but his love for his kids is. He showers them with extravagant birthday gifts, calls them by affectionate nicknames, and often posts their photos online. In one interview, he admitted, "My kids are the reason I keep making music. I want them to be proud, even if I'm not the perfect dad." Kodak's love life, however, mirrors his career, a roller coaster. He's known for whirlwind romances that light up social media, then vanish in weeks. After one prison release, he even proposed to an Instagram model with a massive diamond ring, declaring true love through intimate posts. Days later, every photo was gone, replaced by sarcastic tweets and silence. Those close to him say dating Kodak feels like living in a storm. When he's happy, he splurges, lavish gifts, vacations, parties. When he's low, he disappears completely, sometimes checking into mental health facilities without a word. The pattern reveals a man of contradictions, hungry for love, yet guarded against vulnerability. One of the most surprising turns came in 2021 when Kodak announced his conversion to Judaism. He legally changed his name to Bill Kahan Capri, underwent a bris, and began sharing Hebrew Bible verses. Seen wearing a Star of David, he told critics, "Faith gives me a reason to change." Behind the chaos, Kodak is still searching for meaning, for peace, for himself.
Without God, I wouldn't be alive today. Kodak Black has said it more than once, and the truth behind it runs deep. For all his success, he often wrestles with shadows. On a live stream, he admitted, "I got money, fans, a big house, but some nights I still feel like I'm sinking." That's the side few ever see. A man carrying scars too heavy to shake, trapped between the artist he's become and the pain he's never fully healed from. Instead of hiding it, Kodak turns the chaos into music. His rawest tracks aren't just rap, they are confessionals. He admits to loving the wrong way, to hurting people he cared about, to failing as a son or a father. Yet through all the mistakes, he keeps reaching for better. Slowly, clumsily, but always honestly. And maybe that's where he's most human. Not as an untouchable rapper, but as a young man, falling, rising, chasing the fragile hope that one day life will finally be calm. No more handcuffs, no more headlines, just family, music, and peace. But peace has never lasted long for Kodak. If his career has been a mix of thunderous highs and sudden pauses, his personal life has been even stormier. From his earliest fame with No Flockin and Skrt, Kodak was battling court cases as often as he was topping charts. Theft, drugs, assault, weapons charges, his rap sheet grew almost in rhythm with his discography. For other artists, scandal is a detour. For Kodak, it feels like part of the road itself. For years, the question around Kodak Black wasn't just about music. It was, will he make it back? In 2016, his career faced its darkest shadow. Accused of raping a high school student in South Carolina, Kodak was arrested and held for months before striking a plea deal. He admitted wrongdoing, avoided prison time, and was sentenced to probation. But the stain on his name stuck, especially outside hip-hop. Even fellow artists kept their distance, leaving him increasingly isolated. By 2019, controversy struck again. This time, federal charges, falsifying paperwork to buy firearms. With his criminal history, it was serious. Kodak was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison. But the twist came in January 2021, when in his final hours as president, Donald Trump granted Kodak a pardon. Trump cited Kodak's charity work and potential as an artist. To some, it was mercy. To others, corruption. Kodak kept it simple, posting a photo in prayer with the caption, "Thank you, President. I won't forget this."
Freedom didn't last. In 2022, Kodak was arrested in Florida with a stash of oxycodone pills, enough to be called trafficking. Though he made bail, the headlines once again weren't about music, but about handcuffs. Meanwhile, his personal life spun with the same turbulence. 5 children, 4 women, no lasting relationships. His romances flash and fade across social media, sparking more chaos than love. And then came the shocker, Kodak announcing he'd converted to Judaism, legally changing his name to Bill Kahan Capri. He claimed faith was his new compass. Kodak Black's conversion to Judaism sparked debate. Some called it a publicity stunt, others were skeptical. But for him, faith became a lifeline, a way to find peace amid endless chaos. That peace, however, is often interrupted by new arrests, new headlines, new battles. Still, his fans remain fiercely loyal, not because he's perfect, but because he's real. They see a kid born in the wrong place at the wrong time, making mistakes, yet still standing, rapping, loving his family, giving back to his neighborhood. Kodak has never tried to polish his image. He apologizes when he needs to, disappears when he's worn out, and returns to the studio to tell stories the world hasn't heard yet. Many predicted he'd vanish, lost to prison, tragedy, or chaos. But Kodak endures, like a weed pushing through concrete, like a raw beat cutting through a world too neatly packaged. That imperfection is what makes his story magnetic. Bruised, battered, flawed, but undeniably alive. His life reads like an unfiltered ballad, each verse a testament to survival, resilience, and relentless authenticity. Kodak Black may not be everyone's role model, but he is the truest voice of a generation shaped by struggle, mistakes, and the drive to rise above. His music isn't sugar-coated, his life isn't hidden, and that raw honesty is exactly why his story demands to be heard. If Kodak's journey moved you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next gritty, unpredictable story. Thanks for listening.